Can you learn soap making online? Of course you can. That's how I learned. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, Facebook, and all that stuff, but I'm going to tell you how you can learn it also online. The first thing that I would like you to do is go on YouTube and watch a lot of beginner soap making tutorials. That will help you a lot. You should have a basic understanding of what soap actually is. Once you know what soap actually is, you will be able to pick up a lot of information from everywhere. So what is soap? A soap is made by mixing fat and lye. The lye we use for soap bars is sodium hydroxide, and the lye we use for liquid soap is potassium hydroxide. So based on what you want to learn, you will mix your fats with that lye, and that will result in making a soap. So once you have that information, now you can go watch a lot of tutorials on YouTube, and there are so many nice people who want to share all of their knowledge and they want to train you, and that is how I learned. I actually watched a lot of Soap Queen, which is actually the owner of brambleberry.com. And Soap Queen actually has great tutorials for beginners, and she has so many different videos there that you can learn so much from it. Second thing I want you to do is go to Facebook, and if you don't have a page, just make a quick page just to be able to get in the groups, and then search in the groups soap making, and then you'll find so many groups. So find the one that is for beginners. Some of them are specifically made for beginners, so they can ask questions and people are happy to help you out. But be careful, there are some not so nice people there too, but just ignore them and take all the knowledge that you can take in. Third thing, you can start preparing to make your first batch of soap. Just find one recipe that is simple, that has few ingredients only, and that is tried by some people and they say, okay, yes, this is an easy recipe or good recipe, and just make your first batch of soap. For first batch of soap, I will suggest you not to go crazy with everything, because you still don't know if you love that or not, or which way you want to go. Do you want to actually make soap with lye, or do you actually want to make melt and pour soaps? So you want to figure that out, and before that I will say spend the least amount of money that you need to. So what you must buy is lye, of course, because you need to change fats into soap, and for that you need lye. And keep it safe from kids and pets, and read all the safety precautions, how to handle it and all before you get into this. Other thing that you must buy is a stick blender. A stick blender that is dedicated to your soap making process. Do not use any of the things that you used in soap making back in the kitchen. So if you have an old stick blender you're thinking to change, just use that for soap making and buy a new one for yourself. Next thing you must buy is the ingredients for your soap. So if you found a recipe that has basic ingredients like olive oil, coconut oil, you might actually have those ingredients at home, which is great. So you can use it from home. And then you will need water. In the beginning, I just used tap water or the bottled water that we used to drink at that time. So you can use that. I personally use distilled water, but you don't have to go out of your way to do that yet until you figure out what you want to do. Next thing you need is containers. So my suggestion to you is, when you get Chinese or Thai food from outside, the containers they come in, let me show you. It's like this. I'm sure you get food from outside at some point, and then you get these containers for the hot food. These containers are perfect for your first batch of soap, especially if it's only 1 pound of soap batch. So for 1 pound oil weight soap batch, you can use these containers this size, and make sure the container says number 5 at the bottom. I don't think it can pick up on the camera, but they will have a recycling number 5. They are polypropylene containers, so they can handle heat and they are chemical resistant, so they don't react with lye or anything. I will suggest to buy some silicone spatulas, or if you have one in the house that you don't use too much, you can use that for soap making. But again, make sure you do not use those things back in the kitchen. Now, what about fragrance and colors? I would say if you are beginner and making your soap batch first time, completely skip the fragrance oil, because fragrance oils are very tricky to work with. You might find one that behaves really well, lucky you, but you might find the one that accelerates the trace or make the soap behave weirdly and you're making your first batch, you don't even know if you did something wrong or fragrance oil. So my suggestion to you is completely skip fragrance oil for your first soap batch. What about colors? Colors are easy, they don't act weirdly and all, but you don't have to go and buy some mica or something for your first soap batch. If you just want to have some fun with the colors, see what you have at home. If you have a clay that has a color, you can add up to 1 teaspoon for 1 pound soap batch. But if you don't have something to color it, just skip it. You can have a simple soap batch because right now you're just learning how to make a soap. Once you know how to make a soap, then you can start playing around with the fragrance, mica, and everything. Now, last thing you will need is a soap mold. So personally, what I did is I used a Amazon box. So it was a smaller box. So I used that small box and lined it with a plastic bag. At that time, plastic bags were allowed in New Jersey, so I had a lot of them. But make sure it doesn't have a printing on them. Now, if in your area plastic bags are allowed, you can just put that and pour it. And if it's not allowed or you don't want to use plastic, then you can line it with parchment paper. Like just line it properly, tape it on the sides, and then pour the soap in it. And it's very easy to take it out, remove the liner, and cut your soap. If you do want to get a soap mold, it's completely up to you. You can buy a soap mold and use that. Now, to cut your soap, you can just get a simple knife from a Dollar Tree because you don't want to use anything back in the kitchen, remember? So Dollar Tree has these big cutting knives. I think that is perfect for beginners, and then you can just use that and cut your soap one by one, and that is it. So I think I covered kind of basics for how you can get started with soap making. And if you're thinking to make soaps for holiday season, you want to start working on it at least 2 months ahead of time because you want to collect your ingredients and then make the soap, cut the soap, and also it will need some time to cure. So your soap will take 4 to 6 weeks to cure. Curing is basically you are leaving your soap in a place where there is a good airflow. That way all the water that is in your soap is going to evaporate and your soap will become gentler and also firmer and harder, so it will last longer in the shower. So you do want to give 4 to 6 weeks for your soap to cure. It also depends on the water content in your soap. If you have done a water discount, it might cure sooner, and if you haven't done it, it might take longer to get a harder bar of soap. So I hope this was helpful, but if you have any questions in mind regarding how to get started with soap making, you can write a comment and I will be happy to answer. Thank you and see you in the next video.